So let's start. Let's start with group B2F. Okay. So as I said, you have up to 12 minutes for the presentation. Okay. And then when you arrive here, you can attach your USB here. There are many different things and stuff. Okay. This one. Okay. Thank you.
Can you hear me? Yes. Okay. Perfect. Okay, perfect. So let's start then. Oh, sorry. Oh, do I need to put some? Oh, I need to go to Zoom, you mean? Yes. It's in Portuguese, this one, right? No.
Yeah.
This one?
Yes.
Okay. It's okay? All right. Okay, perfect. So our target market, Brazil, has a huge issue with illegal logging. Forestry companies are estimated to incur over 3,000 euros in revenue losses per hectare of lost forest area. Our solution for this problem is business to forest. We allow our customers to monitor their vast forest areas for any suspicious activity and quickly act upon it. For this, we need 500,000 euros in investment as well as 3 additional employees. So in this presentation, we'll cover phase 1, 4, and 5 of the VCW. So just to get you into the forestry segment a little bit. As you might know, 1/3 of the world's landmass is covered by forest, and a huge percentage of this, 30%, lies within Brazilian borders due to the Amazon being there. Now, this area has been decreasing steadily over the last 2 decades due to activities such as deforestation and illegal logging. So one of the first questions our founders asked themselves was, what is the most attractive geographical market to introduce our service? So where could we have the biggest positive impact on our potential customers? Now, quickly, let me introduce our 2 key decision makers. We have Sarah and Leah. Both of them have previous experience related to consulting and IT-related projects. And on top of that, Sarah's family also owns a forest area in Portugal, which makes her kind of a natural talent for these topics. We defined a few KPIs to measure our progress with the project. So for once, we wanted to develop a meeting routine and actually stick to it. And in the kind of the spirit of continuous improvement, we also wanted to constructively learn from previous mistakes and not carry them over to the next phases of the VCW. Now, looking at industry attractiveness, the downstream EO industry has quite a high threat of new entrants because, you know, there's not a lot of resources required to enter. But although this high threat, we still think that the industry is overall very attractive due to 2 things. So once, the rivalry amongst competitors is quite low. So even though there are some established companies, most of them, they offer kind of a broad range of services and not really focused. So there's quite a lot of possibility for differentiation there. Secondly, as you know, the midstream industry offers their data for free generally, meaning their bargaining power is quite low. So you might know that a lot of the forestry companies up to date, they're still using manual labor to manage their forest. This means that it's a very time and resource intensive practice, and it's kind of hard to spot any changes depending on the vastness of the forest area. These persons might only arrive there after like weeks or months after illegal logging happened. And since there's no extensive data being collected, and sometimes not even in digital form, it's really hard to analyze it and work with it to spot trends and kind of counteract them. So in relation to these 3 major pain points, our service needs to provide the following characteristics. So once, we need to provide accurate maps of the forest area. Secondly, we need to offer a forest monitoring service to our customers. So thirdly, that they can spot suspicious activities and quickly act upon them. And last but not least, on the basis of these collected data, we need to analyze trends and develop strategies together with our customers in order to help them better manage their forest in a sustainable fashion. We also checked, and luckily our our service offering is aligned with the UN SDGs, most notably the goal 12, 13, and 15, which is good for us. And also the external environment seems kind of favorable to our cause. So on a political level, we see that there's a lot of funding opportunity for EO-related tech companies, but also business applications. So the government support would definitely be there. We also spot a societal trend towards both the consumers and the business partners caring more about transparency of operations, as well as, for example, caring about the sustainable sourcing of raw materials, such as wood. Very related to this, we also have a rising importance of forestry certifications. One very prominent one is the FSC, the Forest Stewardship Council, which is one certification that a lot of forestry companies nowadays strive to achieve. And looking at our startup more particularly, so what are our strengths? Since we address very specific pain points, we think we have a unique solution offering what the market is currently needing. One of our weaknesses, of course, as a startup would be we have no previous experience, which of course can be kind of balanced by hiring additional staff outside experts. And one of the biggest opportunities we see, since we are connecting the midstream and the end user companies, is that we offer solution-based services instead of just providing raw data, and we also speak the language of these end users, efficiently communicating what value we are adding to their companies.
So thank you, Seth. Now looking at phase 4. In phases 2 and 3, we generated many potential filters, and we selected them and ranked them. And then we finally came up with this funnel, which led us to Brazil as our target market after applying 9 filters. And in our case, both the VCF and the MCDA analysis led to Brazil, reassuring our process as well as the attractivity of Brazil as our target market. Regarding then the region in Brazil, after consulting our advisors, we decided to make this decision based on the headquarters of our potential customers in order to be very close to them. And this actually led us to Sao Paulo state in Brazil. So here we have a quick overview of Brazil as well as Sao Paulo. And actually Brazil has the largest net loss of forest area globally. And within Brazil, Sao Paulo state is the most economically attractive and covers 20% of the whole population of Brazil. Again, this reassures the decision for making Sao Paulo state the target region. We were able to identify several potential customers in Brazil and especially in Sao Paulo state. And there are actually some of the world's largest pulp, paper, and wood companies based in Brazil due to the large area of forest there. And we identified that most of these customers, or actually all of them, have a very strong focus on sustainability, and they hold several certifications such as the FSC. Now coming to our competitor analysis, we identified 2 main competitors in Sao Paulo state. However, the first Grupo I9F doesn't provide much details on their service, therefore we mainly focused on Visiona, and we identified that their service differs in many aspects to ours, so that's why we assume to be operating in a blue ocean. Coming to our own service from B2F, the key features are we have a forest monitoring system based on high revisit rates and near real-time data, which can be accessed on a web-based service. So our clients can access it from basically everywhere. We also provide consulting services in order to ensure sustainable forest management, mainly focusing on FSC certifications as well as REDD+ projects. Here you can see a prototype of our website that we developed. And the main focus here is to show clear transparency, to communicate the benefits to our customers, and to not use any technical language that they would not understand since they're the end users. We also include a price calculator in order for our customers to have a clear estimation of what price they might face for the forest monitoring service. For the 7 Ps, I want to highlight a few points. So for the promotion, our main channel will be online marketing based on our attractive website and other channels. Regarding the pricing, we decided on value-based pricing, which I will explain in a minute. Regarding the place I just mentioned, we will have our head office based in Sao Paulo due to the proximity to our customers. For people, our startup is comprised of 5 management students, and we are planning on hiring several people, especially local sales staff with market access. For the processes, we want to highlight our outstanding customer support in order to improve our service. So now coming to the pricing that I just mentioned, we are looking at value-based pricing. So we're pricing based on the value we are saving and generating for our customers. We base the calculation on the price of eucalyptus wood in Brazil, as well as its yield per month. And since we're assuming that our customers are facing losses of over 1% due to illegal logging, we reached a flat rate of $1 real, per hectare per month for the forest monitoring service. And the consulting service will be customized and therefore based upon request the pricing. So now Sarah will lead you through phase 5.
Thank you, Leah. So now we reached phase 5 of the VCW framework, which is to consolidate the value of our solution. We followed the business model canvas to understand how the major parts of our solution integrate. So we took into consideration key partners, key activities, resources, customer relationships, channels, and customer segments. Finally, our value proposition is to provide illegal logging and deforestation monitoring using EO data, which includes high-resolution satellite imagery, and we also provide consulting services to our customers, not only for management purposes, but also to get certifications such as the FSC, whose importance has been increasing. Finally, we here demonstrate how we made our budget calculations. So we calculated our costs for the first 3 years in operating. This leads to a total value of 700,000 euros for the first 3 years. Here we can see the 3 M's. So not only we took into consideration where we are trying to get our investment from, and since we are not operating in Europe, we can't have funds such as ESA, but we have other opportunities, and we also are trying to get venture capital firms to invest in our product, in our service, sorry. Also, we took into consideration manpower, so as Leah referred, we also will need some local insights. So we are assuming that we will hire at least 3 more people in the long run, and our final investment will be 130% of our total costs for the first 2 years, which leads to 500,000 euros. We have here our primary stakeholders. So this is the stakeholders which we have the closer relationship to, and we have the customers, the investors, the local communities, corporate partners, and employees. And also we took into consideration our secondary stakeholders, which is the ones who are the ones involved in the go-to-market. This comes with the forestry experts, personal network contacts, local sales support, NGOs, and governmental institutions. And our final goal of stakeholder engagement is to create value by building a strong and sustainable relationship between our firm business to forest and our stakeholders. Here we have a graphic demonstration of our implementation plan. So we represented the first activities that we will perform in our first year. And I want to highlight that one of our main ways to relate is to visit B2B fairs, such as, sorry.
We have to interrupt, okay, sorry, because we just arrived to 12 minutes, okay? Thank you very much. So the first question I have is about the companies in São Paulo. You presented a slide with the 4 companies, correct?
Should we go there?
The customers or the competition?
No, you meant customers. So from from the research you did, which one of these 4 do you believe has more potential as a customer?
I would say Suzano, because it's a big country and they invest a lot in their technology, and I believe that they would be able to contract our services and would want to try to increase the.
They also have forest area not only in Brazil but all across South America. Oh, sorry. Yes, they also have forest area outside of Brazil, like all across South America. So that would make for an attractive expansion in the future.
The other question I have is, you mentioned that you wanted to go for fairs, yeah, in Brazil. Don't you think it would be better to invest your resources in trying to attract these 4 companies than going to trade fairs and start the process from the beginning? In other words, yeah, you can answer. In other words, basically I'm saying if you already have 4 targets, why are you now saying I want to go to trade fairs to find other targets, right?
Yeah, I think, of course.
Does it mean you are not focused, or what does it mean?
So for companies we've identified, of course, we will target. However, we don't want to close our possibilities off. And in doing so, we believe by going to the fairs, we can still promote the company. And we shouldn't limit ourselves just to these 4.
I just want to add something. So our plan also includes adding 3 customers per year. So while first focusing on the 3 of the 4 we presented, we also have to, just like Josh said, keep our relationships or try to get our foot into these other companies, so to say. And I think since it might be a little bit conservative sector, it might take time also to convince them of our service offering. So it's good to have like this initial contact point, and then in the second year further build up on that. And the fairs are not that expensive, so I think it's wisely invested money. So we include this in our cost calculations as well.
Now the final question. Can be to your colleague, she's very tired. So basically, what would you say is the value proposition of your company?
What is the value?
Yeah.
So it's illegal logging, monitoring, and deforestation monitoring. So,
And how different you think you are from other companies regarding that particular aspect?
Because we are a team of 5 experts, and Sao Paulo is a great place to establish our startup.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. D4F.
Jesus Christ.
I got a key. Can connect here. Okay. We can close this. All right. Sure. First, sure this is sharing.
And
Is this?
no, but let's close it and
Qual é a cor?
let's,
Okay.
if we close it
Is
again,
this?
if we close it again,
Yeah,
maybe
go
that's,
ahead.
no, no,
You can open the PowerPoint for it. So.
yeah, okay, is it sharing already? Yeah, that's what I mean.
Sorry.
Okay, so between 2019 and 2020, over 5.1 million hectares
were lost only in New South Wales because of wildfires. Affected by those losses were also conservation agencies that currently assess and monitor forest health mainly by ground data. This is costly, inefficient, and very time-consuming, which is why we think that we can help those conservation agencies by providing Earth observation data and drone data to complement their ground data. For that, we need 3 more employees, a data analyst, a forest engineer, and a software developer, and 15,000 euros to start the operation and buy the first equipment and to pay for our stuff.
Hello, everyone. We are company D4F, and our focus is forest monitoring with satellites. This is our team. I am Elise, Fabio, Omar, Maria, and Rafaela. And in this project, we use the VCW framework to address the challenge that was given to us. Beginning with phase 1, we identified our main challenge, which was to find the most attractive geographical market for our startup on forest monitoring management. So what is D4F? D4F is an Earth observation service with the focus of promoting forest health through prevention of biotic and abiotic disturbances. Our solution provides forest monitoring to detect forest cover changes over large areas. Our overall value proposition is to promote sustainable and healthy forests by using satellite images as well as drones to identify specific unhealthy trees without needing to use ground data. Regarding the relevance of forest health, the 2 main key threats are abiotic disturbances, such as wildfires, and biotic disturbances, such as pests and diseases. BCG projects a loss of about 55 million hectares of forest loss only due to these 2 factors. Impacted by these forest losses are not only ourselves, but also different stakeholders, for example, timber companies or conservation agencies. Therefore, we believe it is important to protect our forests from these disturbances for the overall health of the natural ecosystem. For the key performance indicators, we divided them into short-term, mid-term, and long-term. And for now, the most relevant ones for us are the short terms, because these are indicators that we can measure right after the project. Our business is aligned with 3 main SDGs, number 12, 13, and 15, which are responsible consumption and production, climate action, and life on land. Our target market will be conservation agencies. These are organizations that own or monitor large forest areas and safeguard biodiversity by minimizing the risks of forest loss. Besides doing a pestle analysis and a Porter's 5 forces, we also conducted a SWOT analysis where we identified as our main strengths our strong managerial backgrounds and the diversity of our team. We all speak different languages. As for the weaknesses, we all have poor technological backgrounds and we don't have experience in the area, so that could give us no credibility at the beginning. As for the opportunities, an example would be increasing importance of the SDGs. And as for the threats, the overall competition in the market, they have similar value propositions to ours, and the fact that the European Union might stop funding Earth observation projects. So here we identified 15 competitors and took the most relevant ones to compare in this chart. And we look at the technologies they use, the countries where they operate, and their pricing models.
Now, after skipping phase 2 and 3, we're now in phase 4B, where we then applied 9 filters at a global level to, at the end, come up with Australia. To further define our optimal market, we ran a second local filter on state level and identified New South Wales as the most promising region. Now, coming into phase 4B, we made a customer profile after analyzing the potential customers, the largest conservation agencies in New South Wales. The main traits are that they usually are non-profit organizations, which we already said use ground data to assess their forest health, and also have employees that are typically scientists, field staff, park rangers, so basically non-technical backgrounds. So this is why we think how we can differentiate from competitors. We can use drones to further assess more detailed insights of small areas, not only covering large areas, and use simplistic approach to our customers, so they don't get confused with the technical language that we already largely discussed in class. Now, regarding the Earth observation value chain, as we also discussed in class, downstream companies at the moment are still very technical and not close to the customer, which is why the arrow is also pointing to the downstream, between downstream and end user, so we can use our managerial perspectives and the non-technical background to get close to the end user, our conservation agencies. Now, regarding the concept and prototype, we offer a regular subscription, which offers Earth observation imagery, so large areas with the evolution of the forest health also provided, and recommendations and key action points on the right hand. And furthermore, we have a premium option that provides then the drone data, which is more specified, more detailed, and also gives recommendations and key action points. Now, regarding the marketing mix, price-wise, we want to use a subscription-based model because most competitors use it, and it's better for us to plan in the future. But like it says here, 12-month minimum subscription, so we can better plan and have stable revenues for the first year. We will mainly sell our service through our online sales platform, but also need to direct sales via email or telephone, because like we already said, we don't have credibility, we don't have a big no credibility yet. We promote it via our website, also via conferences to get further attention. We use webinars on LinkedIn to get more attention, and also search engine optimization Google to be ranked higher on search engines. Regarding people, Omar is going to talk about it later. By processes, we want clear responsibilities and clearly defined contact persons for our customers, and maybe standardized workflows to make our workflows as efficient as possible. The physical evidence is important for us, especially regarding our website. We can use our multiple languages to offer different languages as English, Spanish, French, Portuguese, and Danish to our customers, and try to use uniform branding so every contact with the customer is standardized.
So now for phase 5. So before implementing our project, we decide to analyze our resources. So for the manpower, within our team, we have some knowledge related to marketing, sales, finance, and management. But in order to complete our team, we need to recruit 3 other people: a data analyst, a programmer, and a forestry engineer. So on this slide, it shows our roadmap and key activities that we are supposed to do in the next year. So we start by recruitment of personnel, launching the website, and also trying to find our first customer and collaborating with them. After that, we evaluate our midterm KPIs. And at the end, we hope that we'll be able to apply VCW to find new markets. So in order to start this project, we need an initial budget of 50,000 euros that will be financed mainly by loans, institutional fundings, and personal investments. This budget will be used to cover our upfront costs and also first operating costs. The large part of this investment will cover the purchase of equipment and also payment of first salaries. To facilitate the implementation of our project, we decide to design a business model that will summarize how are we going to create and capture value from our customers. For the key partners, we are planning to partner with some European institutes, DJI Drones, a drone manufacturer, and also with the EU midstream and downstream industries. For our value proposition, we offer to our customers a large data analysis of forest area change to avoid or to prevent any biotic outbreaks and also wildfires. We also offer our non-technical perspective for better explanation. When it comes to our revenue stream, we decide to use a freemium model, which means a basic and free model with limited data and analysis, and a more complete one, which will be with the premium subscription that gives many data and also the interpretation of it. We'll also offer a consulting service that companies will have to pay a fee for it. So for our key performance indicator, at this point of time, we only are able to evaluate our short-term KPIs, And based on the results based on the approach that we used, the results for all of them were positive. So to conclude, what are the lessons that we learned from the application of VCW? First, we learned how it is important to involve stakeholders in all the process and also in other projects. We also used the flexibility of framework to be able to go back and improve our decisions. We also learned how it is important to have a prototype to present to our customers, and also the importance of the definition of filters and the ranking of. Thank you.
So the first question I have for your group has to do with the customers in Australia. No, I mean really which agencies? You mentioned conservative agencies, right?
Conservation agencies.
Conservation agencies. So which ones do you have in mind?
Yeah. So we found a few different conservation agencies within the. Sorry, it was just behind the slides.
I mean, they're very similar from one another. That means they all cover large forest areas, and they use ground data. And for the fire risk assessment, they mainly collaborate with fire departments. Also, because they are mostly either non-profit, they are dependent on donations and governmental subsidies. So, yeah.
Yeah, we found. Can you speak to the microphone? No, I'm just saying that we found 5 potential customers, conservation agencies.
I did not understand.
She said we found 5 potential customers.
Another question I have is, there is another group that arrived to Australia also. And I'd like to know within Australia which filters did you apply and the importance that you gave to each filter. So later on we can compare also with other groups.
So you're thinking of this, right? The local filters we applied? Yeah. Oh yes, so the first one and the most important one was the forest cover area, because that is like the main purpose of our solution, that we want to prevent forest fires and abiotic disturbances. And the second one is the forest area burn, which again relates to the abiotic disturbances. And in the end, it was the grass state product. So like the profitability within the state and the opportunity for us to actually start our business there. So
you mentioned that you need 15K to make your startup, right? Let's assume I give you now 15K.
50.
50.
Yeah.
50. Yeah, okay.
So are you going to stop now the university and create a startup or not?
No way.
So why did you put that number?
Why did we put the number? So
if you don't believe in the number, why did you put that number?
No, I think what we discussed was that our customers are conservation agencies and they're non-profit. Yeah, so our customers are non-profit. So they obviously don't have a lot of money to pay for our service. So that doesn't give us a lot of money to do our service. And also we looked into what is possible for us to make in terms of loans and subsidies for startup. And this is basically our estimate.
Do you have any questions, Carlos? Then I have another one. I have more time for you for questions because your presentation was shorter. So.
Good for the other groups.
Yeah?
Good for the other groups.
So regarding your value proposition, you don't need to go there. Can you tell me by heart your value proposition without looking at the slides?
It's to promote healthy and sustainable forests.
Can you speak to the microphone?
Our value proposition is to promote healthy and sustainable forests and we're going to use drones as complement.
And also, how do we differentiate ourselves from competitors? So there's two main points. First is like we asked some competitors and they said they do not like mainly use drones, so we want to use drones for more accuracy. And also like the main players are like technical background and they only like focus on the fund. They do not focus on enlarging their customer base. So this is like the difference between us and competitors.
The reason why I asked this is because as you can see there, it's very long, the value proposition. It's very hard to focus on a particular aspect. Okay? So thank you very much. I enjoyed very much your presentation. I also enjoyed the previous group presentation. Thank you. It's yours. So now you need to open the PowerPoint. It's okay.
Hopefully it's different than the other slides. Can you really check? Looks good, no? Yeah.
No.
Hi, everybody. So today, large and consumer companies have an issue of getting access to forest management data, making them take inefficient production decisions, resulting in irregular deforestation. And that's where G7F is able to step in. We offer a fully integratable forest monitoring and management platform where forest companies can stay ahead of market trends at the same time as improving the quality of their products. Our clients can manipulate data and take advantage of our recommendations to make more efficient production decisions. By the end of August 2021, our core management team, alongside the developer team, will launch our digital platform and enter the Swedish market. We're raising 120,000 euros to do so. And if you need guaranteed forest management 7 days a week, you know who to call, G7F.
Thanks, Oscar. So here you can see our today's agenda, but more importantly, you can see our amazing team who was essential to reach the stage where we are right now. What did we do first? Well, first we tried to figure out whether our startup G7F can create value in the market. So we defined our relevance. And yes, guys, we can be relevant in the market. Why? Because first of all, large end user companies who are operating in forestry, they face critical challenges. First of all, they are like facing the challenges of technological push and resource scarcity. And we as a company can support these companies in making more sustainable and reliable decisions. Second, these large end user companies in forestry, they kind of lack the access to forest management data that is already assessed and processed and analyzed for their benefit. So what happens? We kind of defined our value proposition by saying G7F, our startup, can provide the most comprehensible, reliable, and sophisticated B2B forest monitoring and management platform to guide these companies in assessing the crop conditions and to make more sustainable and efficient decisions in regard to forest management. How do we do that? Well, here you can see our user scenario. First, we take the images from the satellites, then transfer the data by applying our own algorithm and machine learning techniques to make the data more structured and informable and present these data on the G7F platform. So in the end, our clients can access this data and, for example, access statistics about like the forest health or the forest density, which will then help them to make more profound decisions. When looking at our target group, it is really important to say that we are focusing on the large end user companies with R&D capabilities in forestry. So our focus industry are, for example, the timber, pulp, and paper industry. And when looking at our direct competitors, we kind of like draw two main conclusions. First of all, we face technology push competitors, which means these are like more organizations like university and research institutes who are really like technology oriented, but kind of like a customer approach. And on the other hand, you have the market pull competitors who are large companies having a lot of resources and are being more customer centric than the technology push competitors. But when kind of like narrowing down our internal and external factors, we found out that we are strong enough to succeed in this market and to enter the market and be successful regarding our strengths. So we formulated our overall goal, which is we as G7F, during this whole project, during the whole course, we wanted to find the most attractive geographical entry market for our startup, to launch our B2B platform, and to help these companies, our target companies, to assist them, with assessing the business, the crop conditions, and make better forest management decisions.
Thank you, Cecilia, for providing such a great overview of the whole project. So now we are looking at how we captured value and how we're tackling this challenge. So before we started out by narrowing down all the solutions that we have with our validated filters and coming to the highest attractive country of Sweden. But we need a more clearer picture. That is why we applied local filters, which in the end gave us 34 target companies. So it is really important to understand more in detail the Swedish target market. So what about the Swedish target market? Overall, geographically, it gives us great opportunities. Also concerning the risk, it is really great in terms of political and also environmental uncertainties. They're really low there. The infrastructure there is also a great potential for us because it's highly technological and also innovative. So great potentials for our company. Further, after understanding the market overall, we were going deeper into segmentation and segmented the companies by their nature. We focused on large privately owned companies. So looking at these 34 companies, we identified 4 companies that are really have one distinctive similarity, because they are having a holistic strategy covering the complete process of forestry management and are also forest owners. So by approaching these clients first, we will then be able to get a deep understanding of the complete value chain and also the requirements and needs for in each step of the journey and the process of developing. So after understanding the target, we were able to position ourselves next to the clients or in the clients' minds, and also how we wanted to position ourselves in terms of next to the competitors. So after making this clear, we were then able to further conceptualize our product together with our VCW team, the founders and the key decision makers. It was a really intense time collecting ideas and also discussing these ideas, but we came to a drawing of our concept that we were then be able to pitch to our devil's advocates. And they gave us great feedback that we could include. On the one side, we talked to CGI, which gave us technological insights into how to improve the features, and also Salesforce, they have like experiences in platform and especially regarding consumer experiences, what we can improve. So taking into account these the feedback of our 2 devil's advocates, we were able to come to our prototype, the G7F platform prototype. So by looking at this prototype, it becomes clear this platform can be accessed at any time from anywhere. It is really easy for the consumer to log into this platform, and what is distinctive about it is that it looks really simple and it's really intuitive for our consumers. And we were together with our consumers develop the features that they need on this platform. For example, monitoring, reporting of forest operations, and many more. So with our prototype at the hand, we now have to develop a strategy, how we want to go to the market. What is really important to us is that we want to focus on personal and direct marketing, and also building a B2B community around our platform service to be present in the market and present in the industry. Contact management is really important to us. Further with the pricing, we're trying to get to the market with a low pricing strategy, because we want to first win over our clients that we identified. And then after we gain awareness and also loyalty, we are raising our prices. In terms of place, direct personal selling is really important, because our technology needs initial, for the implementation, a close cooperation and also working together with our clients. So at the heart of our company, as I said before, they are our people, and we really want to improve the consumer experience every day and gain honest feedback. That's why our people need to be present anywhere, and also our team and founders. Furthermore, we are not only physical evidence through our salespeople, but also through our platform, which provides an excellent and also distinctive look and can be remembered. We are aiming for a 360 service structure, which is starting out with the implementation and never ending, because we want to define our future together with our clients. So how are we going to implement this strategy? And what do we need for it? Oscar is telling us now.
Thank you. So in terms of our 3 M's, when we strategized, these were the following results. In terms of manpower, we're going to have 2 main teams. First is our core management team, and secondly is going to be our developer team, which we're outsourcing, and they'll be taking care of everything that's coding up our actual platform and everything that's concerning maintenance for our digital platform. Secondly, in terms of time, so our timeline, we're planning to launch in August 2021 and enter the Swedish market in 2021. And by then we'll have advertising campaigns that are running, we'll have outreach to a set of companies, and we'll also have some trial and error with some clients to improve our operations. And money, well, we concluded that we have 3 main expenses over this next year. One is the fee that we're gonna have to pay to our developer team to code our platform. Secondly, it's gonna be our biggest expense, which is marketing and sales, because we really want to invest in client acquisition. And lastly is our resources. So that's the satellite company from which we're gonna buy the data from. And we're raising 120,000 euros to do all this. So now in terms of our KPIs, we've reached 13 out of our 19 KPIs that we set out at the beginning of the project. The ones that we haven't been able to reach are the ones that are restricting us concerning timing. For example, generating revenue or generating a net promoter score. These KPIs we're planning on achieving them later in the process. And as you can see, our KPIs are divided in 3 categories: project, company, and team related. So now in terms of our future roadmap, after this first year of entering the Swedish market and launching our platform, we'll still have a lot of goals that we want to reach. We'll want to increase our investments to maybe enter a new market. Secondly, we're going to want to invest in employees and training, so maybe hire an in-house developer or an in-house customer service analysis. And lastly, we're going to want to invest also in contact management. So we really want to increase our brand awareness in the market by being in fairs and networking and outreaching into other companies, to clients. And here are our major lessons learned. So over the course of this project, we were able to really learn about the Earth observation industry, which for me personally was an industry I was not familiar with. Secondly, we learned how to apply a specific framework to complex problems. And lastly, which was the most important for us, was we learned how to combine different skills and personalities of a team to achieve a common goal. Thank you very much. And if Emric and Gregorio could join us on stage, we'll answer your questions.
So, I have some questions. The first question just arrived, which is how different were the filters that you generated in phase 2B from the ones generated in phase 3C from the final ones? How was the evolution of this process?
You mean, I mean, the difference between global and local filters?
No, I mean on phases. VCW, as you know, is 5.
Yeah.
So I'm saying phase 2B, you have to generate filters, right?
Yeah, sure.
Then on phase 3C, you have to select filters. And then on phase 4A, you have to select to implement the filters. So how different were they? The different phases and how did they evolve?
I mean, we use like different filters, okay, and the point was, I mean, sorry, I didn't get the question actually.
To define the filters we took,
Or which kind of brainstorming we did, actually, no.
how we how they changed the filters over time, like
Yeah, we took more specific features after the brainstorming, like deforestation, but area also, like forest area. So we took more specific features for the market.
So you are saying during the process they became more specific.
Yes.
Then another part of the project has to do with the opinion of the devil's advocate. I found that part very, very important. Can you please elaborate a bit on that? On the devil's advocate, the input they gave and so on.
So we choose these two devil's advocates because, like, they're both of them working in IT, but one of them has some expertise in Earth observation because they also have a partnership with Airbus. So for CGI, yeah, we got some more technological features input, and from Salesforce, we were talking more about like what's important in terms of the customer experience on the platform. So they give like a really great view to us on what does the platform has to have to make it intuitive and simple for the customers. And so we try to really include their feedback and also like the experiences they gave us into our prototype.
Now, another question can be for you again.
Yeah.
Second chance. So in one slide you said that you will allocate 70K to marketing and sales, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So do you really strongly believe that if I give you 70K now for marketing and sales, you're going to be able to implement this project? You're going to be able to start selling?
Yeah, we actually think that actually marketing and sales resources are really important because we need to customize our product. So I mean, also because we actually already like approached our four target companies, just asking them which kind of tool, EO tool they are using, and yeah, to best customize our product. So I mean, marketing and sales resources are really important to understand which kind of product is the best one for them, actually.
I'm just saying this because normally these projects spend 10 times more on marketing and sales. That's why I'm saying if you were willing to do this for any of these projects for 70K, I'm sure all the companies in this sector will be willing to work with you.
That's good thing.
It's good to know you do for 1/10 of the price in the market.
We're just more efficient.
But this is something transversal to all the groups you're going to see. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I think it's better here.
Okay.
Simply because that one disconnects. is yours.
Yeah.
No fires, no?
No, not that I know.
No COVID. Is yours?
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah.
Let me close this. Here. Okay. Can you please speak to the microphone? Okay. When you speak.
Okay. What is this like?
It's here. You just back forward. Yeah, just do this, back and forth. Okay.
Hi guys. So 2% of the world's surface every year burns. This is equivalent to the area of all these countries summed up. And wildfires, which are the cause of this burn, and then wildfires, which are the cause of this burn. Guys, I'm really sorry. Okay, so 2% of the world's surface burns every year due to wildfires. And wildfires work as a vicious cycle towards climate change and endangered human lives. However, usually our approach to them is very reactive and unstructured, but we have a solution for that. So our company provides prevention management and real-time firefighting. By targeting a market with a potential of 9 billion and a very fragmented competitors, all we need to do it is a 9-people team, 3 years, and 970,000 euros to do it. So for the context and background, we talked a little bit already. So climate change is supposed to increase even more the occurrence of forest fires every year. A few of the specialists even say 600% in some types of forests. Here we have some data for the recent wildfires in Brazil and in Portugal, just to illustrate. We conducted a pesto analysis to better understand what our market was, what the opportunities were, and what we needed to do. So basically, socially, there has been a lot of pressure to transition our economies to a more sustainable way. There are new opportunities for using satellite imagery, and governments are looking forward to working with that. And also economically, we have a lot of funding options, especially in Europe, and that's why basically we decided to create our startup brand that has a mission of an effective prevention and control of forests and its communities against wildfire, and a long-term vision of boosting the creation of sustainable forests and communities. So we have an alignment identified with 9 of the SDGs that the UN defined, majorly for incentives in developing sustainable business opportunities, decrease in breeding disease, thanks to the smoke of the fires, promoting sustainable agriculture, and others. Our clients are majorly public authorities, which are the ones that we're going to target on the short run. And on the long run, we want to target private companies. We conducted a competitors analysis based on a few of the functionalities that we have identified that our product will have. And none of the competitors that we were able to find in the market has the whole package. So we believe that there is our differentiation factor. So our value proposition is basically to revolutionize the way that we deal with wildfires and create sustainable communities, reducing the human, economic, and natural losses worldwide, basically by the prevention management and the real-time firefighting management. So now Madalena will talk about phase 4.
Yeah. Jumping right into phase 4, I'll explain our segmentation, targeting, and positioning processes. We started by filtering all the countries according to the ranking previously decided by the stakeholders and the key decision makers. And we reached one solution. Only one country met all the criteria, and that country is Spain. It's there we are going to explain to. Here we have a more clear vision of the segmentation. Each step represents one segment with one specific number of countries. Our last segment was only included one country, Spain. But even inside Spain, we needed to know where to enter the markets. So we felt the need to apply the process all over again in order to decide one region, and we came to the conclusion that our target market will be Andalusia in the south of Spain. But once again, to more specifically define our clients, we had to apply again the process, although with 3 filters this time. And this time we let the solutions to be 3 because we find it was not going to be profitable for our startup to reach only one province in Andalusia. So we are going to target as clients Huelva, Sevilla, and Malaga, more specifically. Moving on, after the segmentation and the targeting, we still need to define our positioning. And in order to do that, we pursued a market analysis of Andalusia. And we found that the government was in need to join forces in creating a common strategy for fire prevention with long-term measures. We also found that the forestry protection was highly regulated by law, and that created a favorable legal environment for us, and that Andalusia was in charge of creating policies to protect their forests. The government was also addressing the SDGs, which is reflected in their inclusiveness of forestry provisions on these 4 areas. And regarding competitors, there were no direct competitors, so we found that it was an opportunity for us to create demands, and to do so, we could partnership with indirect competitors. I don't know what's happening, sorry. Okay, but I'll explain. Inside our clients that are the public authorities in forestry, we divided the groups, in 2 groups according to their needs: the local policy actors, which you can see, but they are the city councils of the previously targeted provinces, the Huelva, Malaga, and Sevilla. Above this, we have Junta de Andalusia, the local government. And we also have regional policy actors in the left sides, which are the Ministry of Environment and the Spanish Civil Protection. We found that it was more profitable for our startup, and we could also be more useful to these public authorities if we tailor our offer to their needs. So we are going to position in both midstream and downstream industries by offering just the Earth observation-based products to the regional regional policy actors like the Spanish Civil Protection, and a personalized service plus the transformed Earth observation data to the more local policy actors such as the city councils that we were talking about. So our entry strategy will be to disrupting the market by creating a network of key players. We will enter by partnership with Infoca Plan, that is the most recent investment of Junta of Andalusia. This plan is providing information to the Junta de Andalusia of post-fire information. So that's where we're going to enter. We are going to provide a more tailored service and a more advanced but still easy to use technology. And by doing this, we can have a competitive advantage. We can maybe lower the prices, as we are going to share the resources needed for our service with the Infoca initiative. So we can lower the prices, for example, for the city councils that have lower budgets. And we can also have local knowledge and a network of already established governmental relationships.
Okay, so you might be wondering what the product exactly is. So it's a digital platform tailored for our clients. And also we have evapotranspiration sensors that will be provided for on-the-ground monitoring. And then we created a prototype of the platform, so it would be easier for investors to know exactly where they're putting their monies in. So this is how we imagine that the client interface would be, the functionalities that it would have, as we described in the product. And also we established a few promotion strategies that go from social media campaigns to target Andalusia, but also to have a more broad brand awareness worldwide. A hackathon in partnership with universities in the Andalusia region, the government, and other actors, and perhaps even a pro bono project. We also developed a strategy of the website, of conferences, and our fellowship program, which should help us also to build a competitive advantage, to have data and partners already in the platform. So in the future, we can become a multi-sided platform that is a reference in this area.
So we're now going to talk about phase 5. So in terms of the 3 M's, so the manpower, the 5 key decision makers will take care of the project administration, the markets research part, the customer service, but also the promotion and marketing. In terms of customer service, we'll also hire Spanish-speaking person to help us in the communication with the clients and in order to build a lasting and trustful relationship. Also, we will hire a team of 3 data engineers for the technical part of the gathering and processing of the data. And also, finally, in terms of the formation sessions, one of the key decision makers will take care of it also. In terms of the project timeline, so it is a 3-year long project that will start in 2021. We will conduct in 2022, by the end of the year, some market research also, because we are planning to expand our activities in 2023. The same applies for the applications to grants, programs, and incentives in order to raise funds again. In terms of financing, we will rely on public and European funding mainly. There are many national and European programs that open calls for innovation projects in the Earth observation sector mainly. We can call, for example, the project SAFERS that offers a service that is similar to ours, that is addressing the forest fires crisis, and that raise funds in the scope of the Horizon 2020 program. Regarding implementation costs, we identified 4 main cost centers. So you can see that human resources is the biggest cost center. Is because we wanted to invest in human resources in order to raise more funds, because all these European programs are really focused on the R&D part of the projects, and this includes the human resources with level 6 for masters and level 7 for PhDs. In phase 1, we have identified KPIs to measure our performance, and we are going to show some results now. So we elaborated a rating system that varies from 1 to 5. You can see that the deadlines. We can see that the deadlines were kind of an issue for us, so it's the only KPI that we didn't achieve as a team. And in terms of the Canva business model, so we will partner with institutions, but also, for example, universities in order to conciliate research and action, and to give us also an advantage in the fundraising part.
Thank you very much.
Sorry for the presentation. I don't know what's happening. And also, yeah, okay. Also, because we use the font that is not supported by HPs, that's why it's not working. Sorry.
So let's go to the questions. What is better for the PowerPoint? The first question I have is, you arrived to a stage where you had to pick between Sweden and Spain, right? They were the last two countries. The group before they arrived to Sweden, you arrived to Spain. So can you convince the audience that the last filter that you use is really relevant? So who is right, you or the previous group?
Well, one thing that is in our advantage is that in the next 5 years, we're thinking about expanding in other countries. And Spain, it's in the center of, it's between France and Portugal. And we know also that France and Portugal, they have a large areas of forest, and they have also many numbers of forest fires. So I think that in the long term, Spain is better than Sweden.
So you are saying was geographical location.
Yeah, the geographical.
The filter that weather was not geographical location.
Yeah, but
and it was not geographical proximity to Portugal and Spain.
Yeah, but if we think in the long term, not just for the filters.
Let's see what your colleague has to say about this.
Yeah, I think we used also a filter about the economic budget that the country has.
Can you show the slide?
Yeah, we had some problems with the slides. For this reason, we haven't.
No, but I think it's closed.
You open the last one. So you were saying?
Yeah, that we use also an economic filter to see how much of the GDP will be used for this kind of operations. And we saw also that, yeah, for example, the government expenditure on environmental protection. And we saw that Spain has a more budget. I didn't remember, but it was higher for the Okay,
let me put the question in a different way. Why did you use 0.721? Why did you use that cutoff point?
We did. I think we did the.
We recognize that this percentage was very low for almost every country because we are talking just about government expenditure on environmental protection, and although it's important, the government does not usually spend a lot on it. So we found a percentage that is low, but it covers a lot of at least European countries, as we saw in the WWF report that the Mediterranean countries accounted for a lot of the burn area.
I just this question I was curious about Sweden.
Yeah, Sweden was left
the image that everybody has about Sweden is I take care about environmental protection. So I'm surprised Spain is spending more. Okay, it's just my perception. Then another question. So what will be the price that you will use for the city councils? It was not very clear to me. The final price?
Yeah, we didn't define a number. We're going to expand more on this on the report, but we find that it will certainly be lower than for the other clients because first, it is like a small area that we are going to monitor, like for each province, we are going to monitor just that forest area, and then it's like advising service. And as we are going to also use, for example, drones and other resources from the Enfoca initiative of the Junta of Andalusia, we can save some of our resources, and then we are going to spend like a lot on providing that service to the city council, so we can lower the price and make like more accessible packages.
Also, so we have different packages. Yeah. So we have different packages. So in our service, we have kind of two services: the crisis management and the prevention. So for the city councils, it depends on their budget and also on the services that they want. So we're gonna kind of have too many prices. We will have different prices for different city councils or for the government. It depends on the.
Probably do not think yet about
Yeah, for exactly the price we don't know yet.
That will really be using, for example, a premium subscription, value-based pricing, cost-plus pricing. What were you doing?
So for now, we think about the area, for example, the area that we're gonna cover, and also the different services that they're gonna ask. Because as I said before, we have two services for the crisis management and the other one. So if they want both, of course, it's gonna be higher price. If they want just one, it's gonna be a lower price. And it's depends on the area.
And also, we did a benchmark and we found the Landsat scenes. And the Landsat scenes are satellite images of a forest, for example, and it costs in 2020 $633 per scene on average. We applied an inflation rate from 1.5% to 2%, so it will be.
So you're going to use that as a base?
Exactly, this is a base, and then according to the density and the frequency of fires, even during the year, for example, in this region, we will adapt our price and we will make some packages and based on the frequency of fire in a very specific area.
Thank you very much.
Cosa facciamo? Tu ora te ne vuoi andare alle 8:30 e scopriamo? No. Thank you.
Yeah. Do you have the pen?
I'm just gonna close. Yeah. I'm just gonna turn over to
Which one? This? Probably the date is out there.
Já disse.
Yeah. Share the screen.
Hello guys, happy to be here with you today to be able to present our innovation and value creation well project, which has for main purpose to find the most attractive geographical area for a startup to land. So first of all, we use the VCW framework. It's applied to all the project, and it has, as I mentioned earlier, for purpose to allow our startup to land in a precise geographical area. Our startup is specialized in Earth observation service for forestry service providers, for them to be able to fight against deforestation. It's used in the phase 1 to analyze both external and internal situation. In phase 2 to generate ID solution, but also generate filters. And in phase 3 to select those filters through the poker method and then run them. In phase 4, applying the VC funnel, and then in phase 4B and 5 to develop our business model and also get the limitation and restriction and to be able to present the main takeaways for you. So the main purpose, as I mentioned earlier, was to create a startup providing Earth observation, satellite technology, and data to fight against deforestation. In the same time, it will allow to contribute to the sustainable development goals through a more efficient way, a sustainable way for forest supervision.
Our main challenge here is to find which area is the best for us to land that technology. Our solution, thanks to the VCW, was to develop the turnkey solution in Brazil to help our federal customer to access and process those data. We will need one more person for that project, and we hope that we will be able to raise 460,000 euros. So, real quick on the project overview, for the benchmark, we mostly use the DHGrass website, and the people involved were me, my group, and Nuno Catalino from Demos. Here is my team: Camille, Ryan, myself, and Pauline. For the agenda, we will go through the 5 phase of the VCW, and then, as I mentioned, I will present the limitation, restriction, and main takeaways. So for the phase 1, I will go real quick because we are short on time, but I would just say that during the last 25 years, the situation, the deforestation, and also the wildfires is growing uncontrollably. So it's a main concern for each of us, and it's in the middle of all the debates. That's why we decided to create G10F to provide the top quality assistance and highest level satisfaction on forest monitoring through that new technology and supervision to help against deforestation. We conducted a short industry analysis. I will just say that we found out that it's mostly started conducting those analyses in this market. Around 500 of them are located in the Europe and North America. And also, which is really important for us, is the end users are mostly conservative and hard to adapt with new technologies. It's something that we should keep in mind while developing our solution. For the quarters 5, I will just say that the threat of new entrants is higher. It's high because the data are open to everyone. And I will also say that the supply of power is very high because it only exists few data providers. So who is our target? Mostly NGOs for the moment, and then we will focus also on Ministry of Ecology, various companies as well. And why? Because these actors need as much information as possible in order to take appropriate decision. And as I mentioned earlier, it's really hard for them to process those data, so we will need to accompany them through this process. Here you can find the substitute to the Earth observation satellite technology, but I will not go further. For the competitors, we identify mostly, this is our 2 main competitors. One is from Germany, RSS, and one is from Belgium, Vito, but I will not go too deep on this. Just to specify, we took, before the VCW framework, the mondial market as the, not to try to hold ourselves, and also, as I mentioned, we will focus on NGOs. Our project will help fight for SDG 13, which is climate change, and 15 as well, life on land. So for the phase 2, we generated ideas and also the filters we will use. There was a lot of them, and then we used the poker method to kill and review some of them, and end up having 13 filters ranked in 4 categories: economical, market, compliance, product and services, and then we rank them from the more global to the short amount. Then we use the value creation funnel, which ended with 2 solutions, Brazil and Peru. Those 2 countries passed the whole funnel. But we added a last filter, which was the number of NGOs present in those countries. Brazil has 6 NGOs specialized in environment accredited by the UN, and Peru has only 2. So Brazil seems to be the most attractive geographical market for us. In terms of segmentation, I mentioned that first we will focus on NGOs and then on private companies and other non-associative associations like Chico, INPE, and IPAM. And in terms of positioning, I just want to mention that to differentiate ourselves, we will organize workshop training session because for us, a main challenge is to make the customer able to understand and process the data. In terms of marketing mix 7 Ps, our product is customer need focused. It means that plus the data, you have workshop and knowledge. We explain how to process the data for the clients. We develop software according to their needs, and it will, of course, have an impact on the price. It's a value-based pricing, and the quotation is made according to the tailor-made solutions. For the promotion, we'll do it mostly on social media, CEO and CEM, and also we will do telemarketing, local and regional media. And for the place, our website and app, and we will try to reach the NGO one by one as well. And offline we will do fairs and seminars. Consolidate value for the 3 M's. Here you can find that in the manpower we will have mainly 4 teams. So the business development, the tech team, solution teams, the marketing team, and all of them is the board. We are the board members. We will have tasks as tax registration. We need to develop the app, of course, the solution, the software as well is really important in the middle of the concern. We will need to raise money and do the event to reach the NGOs. Here you can find the precise schedule of our solution, which will lead our company to land in end of the 2021. In terms of money, here you can find the detail. The huge part of the cost is marketing because we really need to reach those clients, but we also need to develop software, web, etc. And you can see that at the end of administration, we need to acquire a new talent. Here are the KPIs that we will use. I will just go quickly on the customer acquisition cost. We will be the main one as the customer will stay longer with us as we develop software for them, and also we will update as we will accompany the customer. It's really important. One customer is way more valuable for us than in a lot of industries. For a conclusion, I would say that we are really sad that we didn't successfully reach stakeholders. We tried to contact Vito and also employees from the HE, but lucky for us, we invited the employee from Demos who was able for us to clarify several points on the phase 4B and 5. As a conclusion, for the next challenges, we would like to involve other stakeholders to be able to understand deeply the market and also the customer's need, so we will be able to develop prototype. And we need to raise money, of course, as I mentioned earlier, and we will need to acquire new talent. So for the main takeaways, we will say that the Earth observation is still a new market. The main drive for the market to grow is government funding and companies push. It means that we need to reach the client. Brazil is a high potential for us, high potential market for us. And even though several players are already there, there is no high barrier to the entry. In terms of limitation and restriction, the result of the project is built on the group members' understanding of the importance of filters, which can be biased, and due to a lack of external stakeholder, we don't have this expertise of someone within the market. Also, from the main takeaways from adopting this VCW framework, I would say that the main advantage is this powerful tool deal with paradox and help us to solve problem for managing business activity. You have to understand that it helps us being objective, even if we don't know the market in which we are trying to reach. And it helps us to break a huge problem into 5 phases, step by step, really being able to understand any single step. Thank you very much for listening, and feel free to ask questions.
So thank you for the presentation. I have some questions. The first question is why
Hello. So basically, after we applied the development funnel and we reached to Brazil and Peru, basically, in the end, we checked the number of NGOs that are operating in Brazil and Peru. So that is the last filter that we applied. So basically, in Brazil, we have 6 NGOs, and in Peru, we will have 2 ones. So we think that in Brazil, we have higher chance, but of course, the market is more competitive. But we think that through our other business plans and the business strategies, we can get into the company market.
Okay, so you are not considering a specific region in Brazil. So you are thinking about going directly to the NGOs that operate across all Brazil.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry? Exactly, because we believe that we can simply reach NGOs wherever they operate. And basically, Amazon is just here, and the company can base in Denmark. They can still work in Brazil. So we believe we don't have to.
Can you define the type of NGOs?
Yeah. We did a yes. Yeah. Get you to the no. Okay. Yes. So there is a list of 2 groups of NGOs. The first one is supported by United Nations. So it means that they are doing they have a lot of things to fight against deforestation. And on the other group of NGOs, it's like other NGOs and big, but also big one, which are already doing action in Brazil to fight against deforestation and activities.
So here we have
yeah, the main group is the first one supported by you.
So you have the Brazilian ones plus the international ones.
Yeah.
I'm trying to understand the difference between the first table and the second table.
The first table, they are from a program of United Nations.
In the first table.
Yes, in the first one. In the second one, it's like independent NGOs.
They are also Brazilian. Yes.
Yeah, some of them are from Brazil or Brazilian NGOs.
I did not understand.
So yeah, on the first it's NGOs supporting by which are part of a United Nations program. No, it's not accredited. How can I say accredited by United Nations, and so that's why I create another. We create another group with other NGOs which are already fighting against deforestation in Brazil as well.
Another question I have is, so what is really your value proposition? How different are you from your competitors?
So the main point of our value proposition, as I mentioned, is that we understood that most of our customer would be a bit old-fashioned with the technology. It would be really helpful for them to understand and process those data, which means that we develop a software workshop and we will really try to accompany them from the 0 to last point of processing those data and make them quite independent.
Okay. The other question I have for you is, you said, if I understood correctly, Nuno Catarino was involved. You mentioned that at the beginning.
So I say that unfortunately we were really sad as we were not able to contact any stakeholders within the market. But concerning the phase 4B and 5, he was during the Q&A session we had able to clarify a certain point on those stages for us.
Ah, okay. So it was during this.
Yeah, no.
And final question. So you did not put any costs for sales. You spend a lot of money, but at the end of the day, how are you going to sell?
So basically, that's a good question about conversion. So as you can see here, for the whole next year, for the whole business plan, like.
Because I don't see anything there related with sales. Right?
Yes, but for the whole business plan, we haven't thinking of the market entry in 2021. So basically, before the real market entry, we have to have everything ready. For example, for the regulation and compliance, like for the trademark, company set up, government test, basically costs like 6 months to a year, basically, for a foreign company, especially it's in America, not in Europe. So, and also, apart from this part, we also have our product ready, software ready, application ready, solution ready, so it also takes time to develop. So basically, as you can see here, this is the agenda for 2021. We haven't set up the plan for 2022. So basically, our plan is to have everything like a base ready in the next year, and then 2022 we enter the market. Yeah, we will think about the cost for sales later on. But actually, for now, some cost can generate from the reaching out to the NGOs. I mean, but still not a big money to expend.
Yes,
the question I have for you is, so how do you make a value-based pricing strategy for the NGOs in Brazil?
You mean custom solutions?
No, I mean, you mentioned in the project that you intend to do value-based pricing, right?
Yes.
In practice, how are you going to do that for an NGO?
It will depend on the process because we will all the contact step, and then when we will be contacted by the NGOs, we will set with them all the prices and to see with them how to give them the more customized solution possible, and then in all the process to help them to implement the solution with them.
Okay. Would you like to add something?
So basically, the value-based pricing is mainly based on quotation. So normally, from a customer user space, they send an email to the company and schedule a demo, something like this, and talk with us. And then we will think about what they really want. So basically, we not only offer one service, as you can see, we not only offer the software application and the online platform and data, but also we provide the education workshop, solution maintenance, but all these kind of other services. So it depends on what they want, and we will give a final quotation based on the competitive market and benchmarking.
Thank you very much. So let's do a 10-minute break, okay? And thank you to all the groups. Until now, it's been very nice. Don't you have to close first the PowerPoint?
Good luck.
Sorry.
Ich sollte mindestens mal kurz gucken, ob die Texte.
Das hatte nämlich meine Schwester mir noch extra gesagt, und einen Textstyle, den auch sein PC hat.
Aber sieht so aus, ne?
Was ich mache?
Vielleicht lasse ich jetzt erstmal da, ja? Dann gehst du gleich zurück.
Ja, okay, ist ja egal. Ich kann jetzt wissen, was ich sagen werde. Nachdem ich fertig bin, wir direkt anfangen, sage ich und so in order to fund it, we need und dann sage ich alles und dann sage ich on this note, we would like to welcome you to our today's presentation und dann fange ich einfach direkt.
Ja, genau.
Also ich gehe dann direkt über.
Guck mal, ich klicke einmal durch, ob sieht von der Schrift, der ist nicht so schnell. Der ist nicht so schnell, dein Laptop. Okay, ich gehe wieder zurück. Dann gehe ich zurück.
Aber Konsti, ich habe fast die gleiche im Top auch angezogen, genau die Frage.
Oh, da bist du ein Partner.
Ja.
Da wären sie alle so.
Dann hätte ich mich auf die Seite gestellt und würde es da hinstellen.
Boah, Alter, das ist ja ultra klein.
Kann man das nicht ein bisschen größer machen? Ich brauche das. Hier vielleicht so?
Ja.
Das ist ein Kennzeichen.
Das ist scheiße.
Ja. Hey, soll ich den Laptop hier hinstellen?
Hier, nur zur Info.
Oh Gott.
Weil ich das mache,
Mhm.
damit du die Zeit checkst. Hier, ich geb das so, ne? Mach das so. Und wenn ich fertig mit meinem Elevator Pitch bin, klicke ich auf Runde. Und auf die Zeit, auf die du dann achten musst, ist dann die hier.
Die untere.
Nicht die obere, weil die obere inkludiert den Value, den Elevator Pitch. Weil sonst denkst du, fuck,
Ja.
ich habe
Am
gar keine.
liebsten wäre es mir, wenn du mir sagst, wenn ich noch 1 Minute habe.
Ja,
Oder irgendeine Zahlen machst oder
ich
irgendwas.
kann ja
was
so machen.
Ja, genau.
Ist das in Ordnung?
Ja, das
Oder soll ich so machen? Ja, so mache ich lieber. Mach
Ja.
so. 1 Minute hast du.
Weil sonst stresse ich mich mit der Zeit. Weißt
Ja.
du, wenn ich mich drauf achte, wenn du mir dann noch sagst, okay,
Mach
das ist
ich.
1 Minute,
Ja, okay.
dann weiß ich ja auch, okay, jetzt muss ich ein bisschen schneller reden oder was weglassen.
Sollen wir den Klicker nehmen?
Ja, also ich werde wahrscheinlich schon am Laptop. Okay.
I mean, we can change the stuff on these slides, no?
Let's just stop here. Not to be a very big file.
Yeah, a little bit bigger.
Can I